last time the U.S. Capitol was breached was in 1814 during the War of 1812 when the British set it ablaze. Well, earlier today, Trump protesters storming the Capitol, breaching the House and Senate floors. This on the very day Democrats are projected to take back the balance of power after winning 2 seats in the Georgia runoff. Tonight, though, despite a 6 p.m. curfew being imposed in the Capitol, protesters remain on the streets. 1 person was shot, 4 people were killed, 52 people were arrested. Both the president and the president-elect speaking out today as lawmakers continue their work tonight. Alice Barr begins our coverage from our nation's capital.
The nation's capital on lockdown tonight, under curfew, hours after the U.S. Capitol and democracy itself came under siege. 1 person was fatally shot in 3 hours of chaos after a mob of supporters of President Trump and his false claims about the election surrounded and then stormed the Capitol. The drama unfolded this afternoon as lawmakers had just begun the traditional process of counting electoral votes, confirming Joe Biden's victory as the next president. Vice President Mike Pence and members of the House and Senate forced to take cover as rioters rushed past heavily armed officers, in many cases virtually unchallenged. Some made their way into the well of the House and the Senate, defiantly standing their ground in a place where elected officials had been doing their work only minutes earlier. One lawmaker likened it to crashing the gate of the People's House. President-elect Biden had harsher words.
It's not protest, it's insurrection.
President Trump said little to defuse the powder keg, but after lawmakers returned to count the votes, Vice President Pence led several Republicans in condemning the mob.
To those who wreaked havoc in our Capitol today, you did not win.
They tried to disrupt our democracy. They failed.
An unforgettable day on Capitol Hill and a dark one in this nation's history. The police officers who guard the Capitol are facing harsh questions and criticism tonight about why they weren't better prepared and allowed a mob to take over what's supposed to be one of the most secure buildings in the world. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Alice, thanks. And this was the Capitol in Arizona today around 3 o'clock. Hundreds of pro-Trump protesters chanting outside the Capitol building. No reports of any serious issues or damage. However, we have received reaction tonight from lawmakers in Arizona who were at the U.S. Capitol when it was breached in Washington. For that tonight, News 11's Arlette Youssef continues our team coverage from those terrifying images we saw earlier today. Arlette.
U.S. Representative Paul Gosar from Arizona brought the congressional electoral vote count to a halt as he objected to the state votes. Shortly after, violence broke out.
Chaos outside and inside the U.S. Capitol building as protesters swarmed it following the Save America rally. Lawmakers, some representing Arizona and California, inside. Representative Raul Grijalva posting on Twitter, "I am safe," and was evacuated to a secure location almost immediately after defending the integrity of Arizona's elections on the House floor. And newly elected U.S. Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona saying, "In America, we have fair elections and peaceful transfers of power. Democracy prevails over chaos, and those who commit violent acts are held accountable. This unpatriotic attempt to overturn our election and silence the voices of Arizonans will fail." U.S. Congressman Juan Vargas from California also taking to Twitter saying, "My staff and I are safe. We are asking Americans to stand together for the rule of the law and integrity of our nation's democracy." Before protesters breached the Capitol, Representative Gosar had objected to Arizona's votes. The objection was accompanied by a document signed by Senator Ted Cruz. The sound of gasping can be heard directly after Senator Cruz stood up and confirmed the signature. Then, some Republicans stood clapping their hands in support of the objection. Just as quickly as the objection was made, Vice President Mike Pence paused the meeting and directed the House and Senate to debate separately and reconvene later.
I rise up for myself and 60 of my colleagues to object to the counting of the electoral ballots from Arizona.
Is the objection in writing and signed by a senator?
Yes, it is.
It is.
Protesters flocked to the Capitol from a nearby Trump rally. Riots broke out quickly as Trump supporters rushed the Capitol doors. Then, gunfire. First, a single shot heard from inside the building. More shots followed.
Who you with?
Hey, I'm with Getty.
Congressman Vargas says he is prepared to fight if necessary.
I am in my office. They've told us to shelter in place. I have a few staff members that are here helping me, and I told them, okay, we may have to protect ourselves. We heard people running down the halls here. So we've got the flags we can use for protection. They have a point at the top. We have sticks. And if they break in, we're going to fight.
A meeting with Congressman Grijalva was scheduled to take place regarding the vote count. It was canceled due to the unfortunate outcome. We will continue to bring you more on the unexpected events taking place following today's count objection. Reporting in studio, Arlette Youssef.
Arlette, thanks. KYMA.com has those up-to-date details on what's happening at our Capitol, but we go to